This morning's guest has coached high school teams to 3 state championships. But this morning it's not about athletics, it's about academics. What's it all about? You'll find out coming up next on All American People. Good morning. Welcome to All American People. This morning we're at Conway Medical Center. We're focused on Christian Academy of Myrtle Beach, and we're visiting with the parent of 2 of its students, the chairman of its Board of Trustees, and the coach of its boys varsity basketball team. And this is not 3 separate people. Darren Gore, good morning,
Good
Darren.
morning, good morning.
Thanks so much for coming in this morning.
Thank you for having me.
How often do we have a guest that wears 3 hats simultaneously? It's tremendous.
It's a lot of fun, a lot of work.
What an exciting time for y'all.
It is.
To see the incredible expansion of Christian Academy of Myrtle Beach, not only in the immediate vicinity of Myrtle Beach, but the outlying areas. So many folks from this area, from Conway, coming down to the school, from North Myrtle Beach and Little River, coming down from down to the school up from Murrells Inlet. I mean, it must be incredibly exciting for y'all who've been involved for a long time.
It is. We have been able to grow. The school has grown tremendously over the past 2 years, and even in such difficult economic times, it's been just a blessing to be able to have new families involved in the school. Last year was one of the first years I was not able to get introduced to every new family that came in. So we had our family meeting, and it was in the sanctuary at First Baptist Church, and so we had that many new kids come in, almost 40 new kids come to the school last year.
Is that right?
Yes.
Why do you think the school's so hot? Not only right now, but has been for the last many years.
You know, we've had some steady growth, about 10 to 15 kids every year, but the last 2 years we've grown by 30 and 40 kids, and looking for another growth year this upcoming year, hoping to be somewhere around 270 kids in the student body next year, K through 12. So. I think people are learning more about the school. I think people are demanding higher educational standards, and they're seeing we're able to do it not only on the education side and academics, but we're doing it in athletics as well. And I think people are interested in some other alternatives. As you well know, there's a lot of demand for school choice going on right now, so hopefully we're a viable alternative for some of those folks.
Just being able to say K through 12
Yeah.
must be a great feeling.
It really is. That was a tremendous jump for the school several years ago to start that 9th grade class, and I'll be honest with you, there were a few years we looked back as board members and wondered if we should stop the school. You know, the high school cost a lot of money to begin, all new teachers, new curriculums, and a very small student body to support that. So we stuck with it, and now we're really seeing those classrooms fill up and the numbers of students increase, and so it's been a true blessing for the school.
That is tremendous, Darren. Well, there's so many things we want to talk about. The successful weekend, extended weekend you all had a couple weeks ago down at the Market Common and at Rios, of course, about the big capital campaign that you all have undertaken and are really successfully almost near completion, and of course a lot of other things related to the school. But real quick about yourself, are you originally from the area?
Born in Conway, grew up just across the border in Tabor City, moved to Myrtle Beach when I started high school, so I've been here for a few years now.
Wow, Darren, yes, we won't date that specifically. You've got family here in the area still?
We do. Family, my parents and grandparents are still over in Tabor City, and my wife's family originally from Myrtle Beach here. So we have a lot of family and extended family, and just love to call the Myrtle Beach area home. So
that's tremendous, Darren. Well, I said the parent of 2 students. You mentioned your wife, so the parent, one of 2 parents of 2 students at Christian Academy, and they are in what years?
My son Cole is a 9th grader at Christian Academy, and my daughter Caroline is a 7th grader at Christian Academy.
Okay.
And they both, Caroline's been there since kindergarten, and my son started there in the 2nd grade. So been there over 7 years now.
That is tremendous. Well, as you think back, for viewers who may not be familiar with the school, just give them a little bit of the history of how it kicked off. I understand the 15-year anniversary, the big year this year coming up.
That's right. We started at actually an old funeral home up on 62nd Avenue was our first class of kindergartners. And then we stayed there for several years, moved out to the Myrtle Beach Community Church. and had a partnership with them till we outgrew their facility, and they were expanding as well. And we've been at, this is our 4th year at First Baptist Church in Myrtle Beach, and they were gracious enough to let us partner with them and utilize their Family Life Center. We remodeled it for classroom space, and so we're growing out of it now. So that's why the capital campaign started this past year, and we raised a little over $1 million in pledges.
Wow.
We've purchased our piece of property, and 30 acres, and we've in the process of now working with some local banks to finalize the financing on that.
Tremendous, Darren. Yeah, so that will be everything out of the gate, or will you all begin with a portion of the school and then expand over time?
We are more than likely going to get the classrooms prepared first.
Right.
The structure will be built, and then the gymnasium and stage area will be finished a little later on, hopefully within a few months after we get the classroom space finalized. But we need that space for the kids first.
Yes, academics first, but athletics are very close behind. You shared with me is, of course, a real big motto of the school: excellence honors God, and that's a tremendous aspect there, not only academically but also athletically.
Absolutely, and we've been very blessed. We've had some really strong kids who've been able to perform on the athletic courts and fields, and so we've really tried to expand those to make those offerings. We want to be able to offer anything that any other school would offer, but we want to do it at a higher level. And we've been fortunate enough to do that. We've had a few state championship level teams. We've had several of our kids go off to play sports in college, and so we've very excited about that, and continuing to see our offerings of sports continue to grow as well.
And why do you think it's really? Is it just the dedication of the coaches? Is it the dedication of the parents? Is it the dedication of the students that have really enabled you all to excel at such a high level statewide?
I think it's a lot of those areas. I mean, most all of our coaches are volunteers. They don't get paid to do this job, so they're not having to do it for a paycheck. They do it because they love the sport. I coached middle school basketball with Dr. Clark Butler for several years, and he has been, if you know him, he's very passionate about basketball, and just has put a lot of time and effort in the kids, wanting to make them, again, excellence honors God. We want them to be the best at whatever they can be, and if that's in athletics as well as academics, then we want to be able to provide that. I've told them before, I said, if Mike Krzyzewski or a great coach comes down and wanted to coach at Christian Academy, they'd move me right out of the way, because we want the best we can get. So we've tried to do that with our teachers as well. We try to find the best teachers who perform at the highest levels, and so that we can give our kids the best education that they can get.
So oftentimes there's an idea that a Christian school may not be academically challenging, and I'm sure you've heard that before. Is that something that the school is constantly butting up against, and is there any truth to that idea?
Well, and we have had that before, and I always, I'm surprised when people ask me that, because I've had my kids there 7 years, and I'm like, I wouldn't put my kids anywhere that I don't feel like they're getting the most, because we've been blessed with 2 very smart children. My daughter is a 7th grader, but she does 8th grade math courses. She excels in the maths. And so since she was in the 3rd grade, she's taken a higher level math courses. In our school, we're able to work those schedules around so they can accommodate kids like that who can achieve at a higher level. So they're not placed in an area and they have to stay there. So that's one of the benefits I think Christian Academy does offer. But I think that we have teachers there who are not only Christian teachers, but also teachers who are very solid in their fields. They're professionals in their fields, and they feel called to be there. So when you feel called to something, you bring a different level. Again, I kind of go back to our volunteer coaches. When you have a passion about something, I think you give it your all and your best, and that's what our students have given. And we're able now to start showing folks that we do have high school graduates that our SAT scores were the highest, not only in our area, but one of the highest in the state. So we're able to show those comparisons now. Our kids are getting into the college of their choices, so they're not having to settle. So we're seeing those type numbers that we can start throwing some comparisons out there now when people want to look at our school and want to know how we stack up against other schools.
That is tremendous, Darren. Well, for viewers who may need to get off to work now or get family out of the house, what's the best contact information? Do you all have a website? Is there a place that viewers could learn more about the school and their opportunity to get involved possibly.
Absolutely. ChristianAcademyOnline.org is our
Okay.
website. You
Great.
can find information about admissions, about our academics, about our school history and philosophy, as well as our athletic programs.
Right, there is a ton. I shouldn't have asked if there's a website. I've been there. It's got a lot of great information. It's got a lot about not only the mission, but then also a lot, it highlights a lot of things that people wouldn't expect they'd get on a website. A lot of great aspects there about what really drives the school and what's driven the last 15 years as you think back for y'all, that idea of the opportunity of where we would see Christian Academy 5 years or 10 years from now. Did you ever expect that y'all would grow at such a rapid pace?
You know, we really didn't. We knew the school would grow. We knew that, you know, you're always going to have families that want Christian education. Some families come just because they see us as a private school, and we're glad to have them come.
Right.
But our board's been very diligent. We have a strategic plan. I mean, we didn't do this by the seat of our pants. We've had, this is the third strategic plan that we've unveiled. We're wrapping it up next year. 2012, we'll actually start our next strategic plan, and we're doing 5-year to 7-year planning. And it's really amazing. Some of the things that we thought were pie in the sky ideals or goals 5 years ago have come to fruition. And so it's really exciting when you go back and start looking through that document to see where we are from just 5 short years ago.
That is tremendous, Darren. Well, volunteering not only happens on the basketball court or on the soccer field, as you talked about, or volleyball, or swimming, or equestrian, so many of the opportunities that the children at Christian Academy are available to them, but it also happens on the Board of Trustees, which is a very active role. And I know you've served as the chairman of the board, I believe, for either a couple of terms or for a little while.
For an extended period, it seems like. Yeah, we started the capital campaign, and we were trying to keep some of the board members in place to see through this. Several of us have been involved with facilities, with financing, admissions. What we try to do is get our families involved. Usually not first-year families. We usually like to see them involved in the school for a couple years. And let them really see where God's leading them to serve in the school. And so we have several committees. We have admissions and athletics. We have facilities and financing and all that. And so we have a lot of volunteer opportunities that our families get involved in, our parents get involved in, and then they have the ability to eventually serve on the Board of Trustees. And these are folks that have shown a commitment to the school, not only just in their time, but financially, as well. So it's a great group of folks that I have a privilege of working with, and who are really committed to Christian Academy and to Christian education.
That's tremendous. So there are more opportunities than just being a coach or coaching. Clearly volunteering at the school in general. And I suspect you find a lot of parents who may not want to serve on a board of trustees, but clearly be as involved as they possibly can be.
Yeah, and that's where we've been able to keep our tuition and stuff as modest as possible. We have folks that volunteer to work in our lunchroom. We have folks that work at our front door. They'll come in and help the teachers. We've got volunteers that are certified teachers that just come in to help. They're not teaching in the classroom, but they're there just to help the teacher facilitate and to help wherever they're needed. That's the great thing about our school, is that it truly is a family. If someone's in need, the family steps up and helps. And we've had that happen over the last few years with the financial and economic issues that we've had go on. We've had some families that were struggling, and we've had other family members come up and help them because they wanted them to be there, and they want to be there. And it's great to see that type of environment and experience that. And I think that's really one of the things that we offer that nowhere else offers.